You say you want a revolution? Well, there's one happening right now in Kalamazoo. Les Miz is on stage, and you should get your tickets. Assistant stage manager Joe is with us right now to tell us a little bit more about the show. This is complex, okay? A lot of moving parts. Talk about how I saw a semi out there. I'm sure it's more than one, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, we have 11 semi trucks that follow us from city to city. The one that has the big logo on it is, our favorite one because it's got our logo. But 11 trucks that go city to city, and then they bring everything with us: all of our costumes, all of our props, the entire set. Our whole orchestra gets sent from one city to the next. So everything that it takes to put this giant show on, it goes in 11 trucks.
It was only 150 years ago when the novel was written, right? And the story is held true. But 40 years ago, it debuted, 1980, on Broadway, and here we are, 40 years later, still running strong, still drawing person after person to the show. What is the draw?
Well, I feel like it's twofold. One, the music of Les Miz is unbelievable for our particular show, but the story of of a man trying to find redemption and trying to be the best that he can be, and in trying circumstances. And I feel like now more than ever, the story of Les Miz is very, very powerful for people. There's still poverty. There's still, abject poverty in the world, and what are you going to do about it? And I think that's what we try to ask. I think that's what Victor Hugo asks. It's what we ask in our show.
Yeah, Jean Valjean, if only he had Twitter, right?
Yeah,
hey. Social justice, right? So that's
Twitter Valjean.
Yeah, there you go. None of that is in this show, but the show is new. It is refreshed over those past 40 years. What is this one based on?
We took some of the original artwork that Victor Hugo did when he was writing Les Mis, and they have incorporated it into the design of this production. So there's lots of projections on the set, and there's lots of really great color that comes in, and that's all based on his original artwork. So we kind of, in a way, went back to the roots of it, and we're just telling the story night after night, and it's what the audiences love.
Yeah, and that's exactly what live theater is. It's storytelling at its finest. Let's talk about this cast. Not a small one.
So we have 38 members of our cast. 35 are on stage at any given time, and we have five children that come with us city to city. Not a small group, I'll tell you that.
As we said, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
And it's never ending.
You can't stand still. You'll get run over by a runaway truck or something.
And now this show has a cool thing. It has a young cast to it too. Talk about the kids that are in the cast.
They're great. We have 5 of them. We have in the show there are 4 children. There's little Cosette who sings Castle on a Cloud, and her kind of evil sister, young Eponine, who grows up to be good Eponine. And then we have a little girl that is in our harvest scene, and then Gavroche. And so there are 2 Gavroches, and they share the part, they alternate it. And the 2 other girls alternate playing little Cosette and young Eponine. So they're great. They, in some ways, they're very different than adult actors in a lot of different ways, They're easier to move around a little bit sometimes. But, they're also children, so they go to school every day. We have a tutor that comes with us on the road, and they go to school, and then they come to do the show at night. So I don't know how people have this as their job like they do, and they go to elementary school. So
it's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
Neat stuff. And the hair, the wardrobe, it's massive.
Yeah.
We got to look at some of the stylists down there.
Yeah.
Wig after wig after wig, setting those up.
Yeah, it's amazing. We travel with 2 hairstylists who do all of the wigs, and they, cut all the men's hair. Anything that has to do with hair, they deal with. And then in each city, they hire 2 local people, and that run the show at night, changing wigs on people, putting the wigs on them before the show. There's a lot of hair. There's hair everywhere. Everywhere in the show.
Speaking of things everywhere, you have so many set pieces that a lot of times you can't fit them all on the sides of the stage, so you're actually putting them above.
Most of the scenery gets put into the air because there are so many people and so many costume changes and things to do. There just isn't enough space backstage, so the only way to go is up, and we can always go up. And so we put as much as we can in the air, especially big scenic elements that don't play for the entire show. A lot of that will get put into the air.
So you have seen a little behind-the-scenes look at Les Miserables, and let's talk to those people who, and I know you're out there somewhere, who may not have actually known what the story is. How about the cliff notes of what to expect if you buy a ticket to Les Mis?
Well, a story about a man, Jean Valjean, who steals a loaf of bread in order to feed his nephew, and he gets put in jail for 10 years for it, and tries to escape parole and gets time added onto his sentence and hard labor. He ends up breaking parole to try to seek a new life because he meets a bishop along the way who says, you're worth it. You don't have to just be this. You can be whatever you want. And gives him the ability, gives him that like leg up to make something out of his life, and he does.
But all the while, there's someone else who's not going to let that loaf of bread go.
Yeah, he's not going to let it go. Javert, Inspector Javert, is also seeking, I think, I wouldn't say redemption, but I think he's seeking salvation, actually. And he thinks that by doing his work and by chasing after Jean Valjean his entire life, that he'll be saved as well. Doesn't work out so good for him, but you know.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. But really, the story of validation between those two characters, and of course, there's a love story in there, and there's some battles in there too. Something for everybody.
But I think the idea of trying to change your life is entirely what Les Mis is all about, and no matter who the characters are, they all want to change their life.
40 years later, Les Miserables still carries the strong messages that hold true today, wows people with the music and the acting and the stage. It's all amazing. A lot of smoke back there too. Okay,
yeah,
there's a lot of foggy scenes back there. It's pretty cool. You have to come check it out. Come to Kalamazoo and check out Les Miserables.